morning all, and very welcome to our public talk. Today I'm going to talk about this issue, how to assess the online content about health issues. I'm sure that you are daily exposed with many claims, with many news, information about health-related issues, actually. And maybe majority of what you expose with is not scientifically proven or assessed, actually. So how can we know and how can we evaluate whether those information that we see online, actually we face online, is really valid, reliable, and trustworthy? So here, depending on how many types of social media you are working with, you will be exposed with more and more those type of information, actually. Majorly Facebook now, because most people are active in Facebook. You most probably have a Facebook account, and then daily you check the Facebook content of you, actually. So not only Facebook, but also Twitter, for example, and then also Instagram, and then YouTube, and then so on. They are all those type of online contents that you may face, actually. And most probably, you have already seen some of those things here in this slide. For example, here, scientists find root that kills 98% of cancer cells in only 48 hours. We should be very happy, actually. If it is like that, then the cancer problem has been solved, actually, yes? And Indian scientist makes a revolutionary discovery. It can detect cancer 6 years in advance. You know, you see, more than 500,000 times it is shared in Facebook. More than 500,000 people have seen this one, actually, you know. Later I will talk about this case more. And also pain relief with some tools, actually, which is somehow weird. For example, I'm sure that many of you have seen this one, actually, to get rid of stroke, for example. Doing this one, just using a needle, for example, and a drop of fingertip blood, for example, may solve that problem. Actually, the patient may be saved, actually, of stroke with this method. This is a wristband that's supposed to be mosquito repellent, actually. You know, so does it really work or not? So no DEET, because DEET is proven to have some side effects, actually. Many of those mosquito repellents may use DEET, actually, in the formulation. So they claim that, okay, this is no DEET, and then 100% safe. How about the effectiveness? Later we will talk about that one also. You know, so this one, as a sponsored advertisement, is now on Facebook. Once you open your Facebook, that's from Malaysia, actually. Many of you may see this one as a sponsored advertisement, actually, you know. So the healthy food that may help you to reduce the cholesterol and fatty liver and blah, blah. You know? So the impact of those things on the society's health may be significant. We have no very clear idea about that one. Just you look at this one. Because, you know, in case of a stroke, the first 3 hours is the golden time to save the patient. Now, if instead of sending the patient as soon as possible to, for example, CCU or to ICU to save the patient, you start doing this practice, actually, and you waste the time actually. So it could be really harmful to the patient actually. So some of those advices are really potentially harmful to the patients actually, So let's have a closer look to some of those claims actually and how to assess them actually, Now, regarding that mosquito repellent wristband, if you want to assess whether this one really works or not, what do you do actually? How do you assess the validity of this online information? What do you do? If I am your friend, I am asking you, okay, how do you think about this one? Does this really work or not? How do you answer me? Try. You mean you will go to the market, you will buy one, and then you try that one. Is it? Do you do the same? You will try that one. Do you do the same? Okay, why not to choose a simpler way actually? Why not to use the same online media again to search about that one before you spend your money actually to try that one? Yeah? I have done this one. I saw this case actually, and I searched for that one, whether that one really works or not. You say you will buy and you will test. How do you test? For example, all throughout the night when you sleep actually, of those, if you consider 1 week for example, for how many nights you may experience that mosquito biting? Maybe only once a week for example, yes? So if you try this one, for how many weeks you will use this one to make sure whether this one works or not actually? So we need to plan actually a scientific way of testing actually, And most of the times that scientific way of testing is statistical method of tests actually, So it may not be easy and it is not very wise method to go to the market and to buy that one and to try whether this one really works or not. Some of the times the advice could be even harmful. Why to test the potentially harmful advice? So I faced this advertisement, then I searched for that one to check again online whether this one really works or not. Then I faced this one. That's a very short video, only 3 minutes. What we need to do is here. They have tested this one. So we need a control to test. They are doing the same thing. Install this application as well, yes?
saying that their products are effective and have millions of satisfied customers.
You know, because again, if you search for those things, thanks to internet again, you will be able to assess those things actually, you know. And that's the scientific method actually, to compare the effectiveness of this product, for example, with a control actually. Then they have planned such a controlled study actually, you know. Look at this one. This is from a website that watches the social media, and the number of shares in the social media for each topic actually is being investigated by this website actually. So as you see, cancer is the most popular topic actually, you know, in the social media, because people are really concerning about cancer. The number of, for example, for this topic, the number of shares in Facebook is 1.8 million actually, for example. Again, cancer, for example, and cancer. So these are the cancer-related topics watched by this website actually, you know, and the number of shares. I want you to focus on this one. This is the same thing that I showed you in the beginning actually, you know, first slide. The Indian scientists in the top left actually, the Indian scientists who find a way actually to detect cancer 6 years before it happened actually, you know. And as you see, more than 500,000 people have shared this one in Facebook actually. I was searching for that one. Who is behind that one? And who is that scientist, so-called scientist, Indian scientist actually, you know? So, firstly, the number of shares is not an indicator of truth. If it is shared for 1 million times, it's not the proof. Scientific proof is something very different from number of shares actually, you know. This is the lady, that Indian scientist actually, who has proposed this new revolutionary method of cancer detection actually. When you go to the Facebook page, you will see that her friends list is full actually, 5,000 people. And all people are really, you know, happy with that discovery, giving her a lot of encouraging messages actually, congratulations and blah blah, okay? But what is behind that one? How to assess whether this one is true or false? First of all, I refer back to my basic knowledge about cancer, okay? What is cancer? Cancer is a mistake in the transcription of DNA and RNA actually, and it makes the cell to become immortal, okay? This is cancer. And if I am practicing a very healthy lifestyle, I am still, depending on the type of the cancer, I am still potentially a cancer victim by 90% to maybe 60% actually, you know. So it is by chance. When we are talking about the diagnosis of the cancer, yes, we have many reliable methods of diagnosing cancer. But when we are talking about prediction of cancer, for example, in the next 5 years, in the next 6 years, in the next 3 years, for example, who can predict that one? Because just a random mistake in the DNA and RNA transcription. Then this is from my basic knowledge of cancer. Secondly, it may take 3 to 5 years actually, a cancer clinically to be detected. It means when the patient refers to a doctor with the signs of cancer, most probably the beginning point of that cancer has happened 3 years back or 5 years back, 3 to 5 years back. So how possible to give a test and ensure the patient that for the next 6 years you will be cancer free? How possible? It doesn't make sense again, you know. So this one is coming from my basic knowledge about cancer, okay? But let's say you are not a clinician. You have no basic knowledge about cancer. You are just an ordinary people. You are a driver, for example. You are a teacher. You are not a healthcare staff, for example. How can you assess this one? To assess this one, you don't even need to be a clinician. You don't need to have a clinical knowledge about cancer, okay? The first question that I may ask about this one, okay, is it reflected by some creditable media, news agencies, CNN, ABC News, BBC, Washington Post? Have they reflected this one or not? Can I find such a news somewhere else or not? When I search for that one, I would see the only websites that reflect this one. There are some yellow pages in the Facebook and here and there, actually some websites that are not scientifically proven and not creditable, actually, firstly. Secondly, is there any conflict of interest here or not? Is the person behind this one is part of a research team for this or that university, this or that pharmaceutical company, or the person is directly having some benefit in that one? When you search for that one, you would see that this lady does not have any academic affiliation, actually. She's not working with, she's just a dentist, a specialist dentist, actually, you know. When you go to her CV, there is no any academic affiliation there. She's just having her own clinic in India, in Hyderabad, in India, actually. And definitely there is a conflict of interest there because she is making money with this so-called revolutionary test, actually. So if there is such a conflict of interest there, and if there is no any academic affiliation there, no pharmaceutical industry behind that one, then it is questionable. When you go through the details of that so-called discovery, you will see that the same lady claims that she has been doing research on this issue for the past 9 years. Okay, if you have been doing that one, where did you publish that work? What was the methodology of that research? What was the components, the details of that research? Where can I find those details? Nowhere. No single publication about that one. Yeah? And moreover, when you go through the details of her own website, actually, you will see that the only thing that is mentioned, she has been doing a research. She has traveled a lot throughout India researching about this one. I didn't know that traveling may help you to discover something revolutionary, actually, you know. So probably traveling would not help in that way, actually, you know. So just even if you have no any clinical knowledge about that one, just when you put some question mark like that, okay, where does this published? Is it published somewhere or not? Is it published in a peer-reviewed journal or not? Where can I find that one? Nowhere, okay? So then I can say definitely this is a fraud. Such a fraud cannot be done in the United States. You cannot find such a thing in Canada, in Europe. Because of what? Because a strict control, rule of law. It can be done in India. It can be done in some other countries that the rule of law is not such strict about those health-related issues, actually. So, and I'm sure that right now, when we are talking about the issue, she's making a lot of money with this so-called revolutionary idea, actually, you know. Any question here? Any comment here? You can search it by yourself. You can easily find the Facebook page and all those things, okay? So This is a question that you need. If there is any conflict of interest, even if it is published in a peer-reviewed journal, when there is a conflict of interest, you must be suspected about the issue. Probably you have heard about dengue vaccine. Dengue vaccine, all the research, the research behind this project actually, dengue vaccine, in the South America and in Southeast Asia, had included several thousands of people. A lot of money was spent by the company, the pharmaceutical company behind that one. But all those researches have been done by the same pharmaceutical company that invented the vaccine actually. So in the end, when they published that one, when they encouraged the governments to accept this vaccination plan actually, you must be very cautious about that one. Malaysian government, Malaysian Ministry of Health has been very cautious about that one. They didn't accept that one immediately. They wanted another 2 years probation time actually to make a decision about that one. Philippines accepted that one immediately. There are some cases of death because of this vaccination actually in Philippines. Now Philippines again stopped this vaccination actually. So when there is conflict of interest, the company may hide some of the findings, which is not good for that product actually. And it, as just in case of dengue vaccination, they didn't provide that part of information that for those who are seropositive, this dengue vaccination may be dangerous, even may cause death. If you are seronegative, then yes, it works well with no harm actually. But for seropositive people, the immune response to that one could be dangerous to the patient. And they hide the issue actually, Look at this one. This is one of those yellow pages in the web actually, this website, Natural News. You must be very cautious about what is reflected here actually, For example, just in a few days back, I was looking at the topics here in this website actually. Look at this, for example. This herb, found in many regions in China, can reduce high uric acid levels and prevent gouty arthritis. Okay, so what's your understanding of this one? Probably this medicinal herb from China would be effective in gout. Okay, this is my understanding of this topic. When I click on this one, I clicked on that one, I went through the whole story actually, okay? So, when you do this one, you will see that some more details is provided. But when I search for the real research was done by the Chinese scientists behind this article actually here, I came to know that this study was just an animal study on mice, not a human study. But no single word was stated in the website about the issue, that this one is not a clinical study on human being actually. It is just an animal study on mice actually, So the story is very different, The effectiveness to reduce uric acid level, for example, in mice may take place, but how can you guarantee that this works on humankind as well? Yeah? So, that's a big gap between animal study and then human study actually, the effectiveness in human samples and then the... So, does this one reflect the whole story, or they just intentionally hide some part of the story actually, So, here in this case, for example, when you search, when you are just curious enough to go to the root of the story actually, you will discover those things. That many things is hidden here, actually, you know. So you need to be very cautious before to make. If you, in traditional medicine, for example, advise this herb actually to the patients with gout, without going through those details, actually, so you are doing something unprofessional, actually, you know. So you must be very careful about those type of advices, okay? So, firstly, creditability of the research journals that are cited, if any. I have done this one in terms of this article. I found the PMC journal actually behind that article, and I came to know that this is just an animal study, okay? Not human study, okay? So firstly, check out the creditability of research, whether this one has been cited in any peer-reviewed journal or not, okay? And when I say peer-reviewed journal, actually, you know, we have thousands of journals daily being published in the world, actually, you know. And I can tell you that maybe something about 90% of those publications are rubbish, seriously, you know. We have hundreds or maybe thousands of so-called predatory journals, predatory publishers, actually, you know. So again, it's very important to know that even some of their journals claim that they are peer-reviewed, actually, you know. But when you go through the details of the process of peer review, you would see that it's not true, actually. There is no peer review there, actually, you know, in those predatory journals, actually. To know about that one, it's simple, actually. There is a long list of predatory publishers and predatory journals. If you are interested to know whether this article in this journal is really reliable or not, you can refer to that list, actually. The list is here. Just Beall's list. Jeffrey Beall actually is a librarian from the US. He has been very interested in those predatory journals. He has prepared a long list of those predatory journals and publishers, and he and his team actually do updating of this list, I think, every week, you know. So you can easily search for that one, just here, Beall's list. You see, in this Beall's list, here, this is the list of predatory publishers. When you go through the web page of the journals, if you scroll down, in the last line, you will see the publisher. This journal is being published by which publisher. So, if you find the name of that publisher here in this list, that's a long list, actually, you know, then that publisher is a predatory publisher. What they publish is not much reliable, actually, you know. And some of the journals are just being published by themselves, not by the publishers, actually. So for those here, stand-alone journals, if you can find no publishers in the web page of that journal, then you can search for the stand-alone journals, actually. So again, there is a long list of those journals. Even if you find, if you wanted to publish something, you'd better to search that journal in this list to make sure that you don't choose a predatory journal first, you know, and just to publish in some more reliable journals, actually, you know. So this is important to know about the creditability of the journals that the claim is published in. Okay, Beall's list. Preliminary results. Is it you know, it's very important to know, for example, some of the times, the study is just a pilot study, not the whole story, actually, you know. If it is pilot study, it's still not reliable. So is it really a preliminary study or the whole study? Any control, you know, even if in that test that I showed you regarding the mosquito repellent wristband actually, if there is no control there, when you put your hand there, for example, still you cannot claim much. But when you put both hands, for example, one with this wristband, the other one with that mosquito repellent, for example, the DEET-based mosquito repellent, for example, and then you will see the difference, then you can claim that, okay, this one works, this one doesn't work actually, you know. So control is critically important. And sample size is critically important also. We have some of the clinical trials, which is the best method of scientific investigation actually, but the sample size is very low. The outcome cannot be trusted much, you know. And also generalizability. If one study is done here in a certain population, in adults, can I generalize the finding of this one in pediatrics as well? If it is in Asians, can it be generalized to the African Americans, for example? You know, so generalizability. So these are the things that you need to think about. Okay. So these are the questions to be asked about the source of information. You know, is it factual information or personal opinion? That's a very different issue, actually. You know, so I believe. Okay, I am an academician. I am a clinical pharmacist. I believe like this or like that. This is the lowest level, lowest rank of evidence, actually. That test makes money for her without any proof. She says, okay, your test is negative. I ensure you that in the next 6 years, you won't be a victim of cancer. But who can make sure about that one, you know? 99.9% of people may not be a victim of cancer in the next 6 years. What you promised to me actually is already there actually, you know. So how can you prove that one, okay? And what is the motivation behind that one? Is the information available somewhere else? That's very important. This is why I'm telling you that before you try that wristband, you search for that one. Probably some other people have tried that one and they have shared that one. Last time I was searching for some natural way of preventing mosquitoes to come in my house, for example, and so on. So I found, probably you have seen that one, the solution of sugar in the very simple, just the bottles of the soft drinks and so on, you know. And then they make a trap with that one. The mosquito may go inside and the mosquito would be trapped by that sugar solution actually there, you know. So I was interested to practice that one. But before that, I decided to search more about that one. Then in YouTube, I found a lot of other videos that people have already tried that one and they say, don't waste your time. This one doesn't work. I have tried that one, you know. So why to try that one again? People have done that one actually, you know. So this one, availability of the information somewhere else, old or new info. If the info is very old actually, probably more than 5 years back, then it is not much reliable. You know, the scientific world is changing very much actually, you know, and then to be updated is very important actually. Why published at this time? Most of the time when an old issue is becoming trendy now, probably someone is getting some benefit from that one. You know, so you need to ask those questions before to make a decision about that one, whether that one works or not, okay? So, is this health site trustworthy or unreliable? You know, it's about the websites, when you find something in the websites, actually, you know. So, these are the signs of a trustworthy website, and these are the signs of bogus websites, actually, you know. Use plain language versus packed with scientific sounding jargon, actually, you know, because they want just to intimidate you. You know, as if okay, there are scientific proof behind that one. And so if there are a lot of medical jargons there, then probably that's a sign of the website fraud, scam, or something like that, okay? Acknowledge uncertainties and unknowns, actually. You know, normally the scientists are quite humble people. When I do a research, in the end of my research, when I publish my research, I admit that there are many limitations in my study. I acknowledge those limitations of the study, actually, you know. And where this study findings can be generalized, where it cannot be generalized, for example, you know. But if they say it works by 98%, that's a revolutionary, you remember that one in the Indian lady's website, actually, revolutionary method and blah, blah. When they make a lot of noise about that one, that's the thing that you need to double think about that one, okay? So based on meta-analysis of multiple studies or few sources. Later, for those who are pharmacy students, actually, later we will have, or probably you have had evidence-based medicine course, actually. In that evidence-based medicine, we will go through the details of ranking of different types of research and publications. We will talk about meta-analysis and so on over there. Sites peer-reviewed, published, I talked about this one. Biased founding sources, as I told you, the conflict of interest is a big issue. You need to be very careful about that one. Content largely created within the last 5 years compared to the old information, and cites studies involving lots of human participants, cites studies involving a dozen mice, you know. So again, as I told you in that article, which was just animal study compared to the human studies, for example, you know. So these are the suspicious words, you know. Cure all. You will face, especially in Facebook, you know, this remedy cures the sore throat by 100%, for example. The mixture of this herb and that herb and then honey and then blah, blah, you know, it works by 100%, for example, you know. So lose weight, you know, two topics are trendy topics online. One, cancer, the other one, weight loss. Weight loss is also very popular, you know. So whatever is about those two issues must be very suspicious, actually, you know. You need to rethink about that one. Quick fix. Quick fix. Actually, you know, our body is not like an automobile, for example. In the automobile, you know, when the spark is not working, you just replace the spark and then your car will start, actually. In our body, when we do some treatment, actually, it takes time. It takes, and some of the times it may work just partially, for example, you know, and it's not just like changing an accessory in the car, for example, just you know, to fix the problem. So if they say lose 10 kg, for example, in 2 weeks, then definitely something is wrong there. Yeah? That's my body, not the car, actually, you know, and that's not liposuction, actually. Just drinking this liquid and then after 2 weeks to get rid of 10 kg of the body fat. It's impossible, actually, you know. So ancient remedy. Many of those people, especially in homeopathy and then those you know, rubbish issues, actually, they maneuver on those things very much, actually, you know. Ancient remedy, traditional herb, and blah, blah. Traditional herb is very welcome, but when it is scientifically proven. Even if in the modern medicine, we will use those herbs, actually, but in a modern way. Digoxin, hyoscine, all those drugs are coming from herbs, but in a scientific, modern way, actually, you know. So this ancient remedy, traditional, herbal, and blah, blah, doesn't guarantee that this practice is not harmful. firstly. And secondly, effectiveness is also under question unless it is scientifically proven. Act now. There are only limited number of this one available. Just hurry up. Otherwise, you will lose the chance, actually, if there is some sort of promotion of the issue, actually. So you need to be suspicious about that one. Revolutionary. Exactly, you see that one in that Indian lady advertisement. Amazing results. My tumor shrunk, That's very funny, About a few years back, I was invited to attend a ceremony about launching a new pharmaceutical product here in KL, actually. I attended. It was not a drug, actually. It was a complementary medicine, actually. That's a herbal. The tablet was invented by seaweeds, actually, from seaweeds, seaweed extracts. The CEO of the company was a Japanese guy with PhD in nutrition from UK. So he was very respectful guy, actually, very gentleman, and so on. I also attended. So this is not a drug. This is just a complementary medicine, actually. So it is not under the rules for normal drugs. There was a testimonial for this newly launched drug. Another person came speaking about hyperthyroidism, which was cured by this one. Another guy came and talked about hypercholesterolemia, which was cured by this one. So many people came and presented their testimonials about the effectiveness of this one in many different diseases. Then I wanted to tell the guy, so you have found the cure of all diseases in this one single tablet. Why to go through other medicines, actually, And the CEO knew better than anyone else that all those things are rubbish. It is just to promote the product, So that testimonials is having no value in scientific world. Okay, this one is very good because my auntie used this one and it was effective. Those anecdotal and I don't know the narrations about the effectiveness of the products is not scientifically accepted, actually. We have a scientific methodology to test those things. So it doesn't matter how many people say this one works. Even if 100 people come in front of me and say this product works, I cannot accept that one unless that test is done in a scientific way, in a scientific method. We have a methodology for that one. So do not be intimidated by numerous claims about those things, actually. All natural. This all natural, all natural can be also harmful. It can also kill people, actually, There are a lot of drug-drug interactions between those natural products and the current drugs that the patient is taking, actually, Effectiveness is a problem, and also side effects is another problem. So natural products are not harm-free. They also can be potentially harmful. And secret formula, if something works, no need to hide that one. Instead of claiming secret formula, go and take the patent. Why don't you go and to claim the patent of that product, actually, So whenever they say secret formula, then there is a scam there. You must be careful about that one and do not advise to. So if you face those things, please do not share those information. do not expose more people to the same misleading information, actually, you know. So I guess, yeah, that's my last slide. Now, if any question, any comment.